Okay, everybody. Hopefully everything's working. We are on these two microphones right now. Somebody forgot to charge the receiver. I think these things are charged. I'm not too sure. I'm going to go ahead and take this off. I went to start the stream and I realized that I hadn't charged the units. So I do have a USB cable plugged into it. Hopefully by the time we get to break time, it'll be charged up enough and we can convert back over to the wireless. Want to welcome everyone to Music and Gear. This channel is trying to be different on YouTube. So I need everyone to remember that. We're here to be honest with one another and talk about products and what we find that works. And I guess the big key to that is everyone's looking for the best bang for the buck. No one wants to overpay for anything. That's what the channel's about. We get stuff in, we look at it, how user-friendly is it, what does it cost, and does it work? Does it repeatably work? No BS channel. I'm not affiliated with anybody. Leo James, Sire, MXR, Behringer, it doesn't matter. When the channel hit, 900 subs, a lot of companies reached out to us. That Geiger, Joyo, a couple other companies. And I turned everyone pretty much down just because of the stipulations. And you pretty much have to, there's certain tag logs and stuff that you have to say. And, like Joyo, they wanted to send me it was like a $50 or $60 wireless unit. And, of course, they give it to you for free. And at the time, I was doing a lot of pre-recorded stuff. So it was going to probably take me, we'll just say 16 hours of editing and about maybe 4 hours of video recording. So when you sit down and think about it, the amount of time that it takes to do it, you end up working for, $1.50 an hour. And then you got to put a product link in it. And there's no back end kick on it. I just didn't see it. I just didn't see it. Geiger, on the other hand, they wanted full rights to the video. They wanted to be able to use it on YouTube, Amazon, and I see some other channels. I see some new channels that I didn't see before on Amazon doing product stuff. The only issue with that, when you get into the Amazon stuff, and we're going to get into Amazon tonight because we're probably going to order a guitar tonight. I want to order a budget guitar. But back to Amazon, the issue with a lot of the budget companies, and we have budget guitars here. We've got an IYV, Linnell does. It's a great guitar. It's a great guitar. That being said, it was also one of the guitars that everyone knew was great. Okay. And it was that guitar is probably 3 or 4 years old now. I've heard rumors that the new IYV stuff isn't as good as the one that we have. We have an IP300. It's like I guess it's like the Paul Reed Smith type thing with 2 humbuckers. It's a great guitar. They claim the new ones aren't quite as good. I don't know. You guys know that we've done a bunch of Leo James stuff and had some fret issues. Grote did some Grote reviews. I thought Grote did really well for the price point. None of the Grotes had great electronics, though. Did some West Creek. Out of all of them that I've probably reviewed, out of the box, this channel's about honesty. I'm going to put West Creek as probably one of the best ones we've had on the channel. And what's funny about that is I talked to other people, and West Creek's had some pretty bad duds. They had that one guitar that had all the stripes through it. They claimed that guitar wasn't really too good. It was like a Super Strat type guitar. Birdman sent us a Les Paul that he ordered off Amazon. And I want to say it was about $170 for that Les Paul. Great playing guitar. I thought it sounded good. I wouldn't have had any problems whatsoever taking that guitar out live and playing it. It held tune well. It had a decent sound. At $170, it's kind of hard to sneeze at that. Even if you had to put tuners on it, you can get nice hip shot tuners for $55. That's still a really cheap guitar, but I don't remember the tuners on that guitar being bad. So I'm going to say that was a really good one. We had another West Creek on the channel, and we were doing a double cut shootout. We had a West Creek, a Firefly, and an Ibanez. I'm pretty sure the Firefly won that shootout, and the West Creek was a single P90. When I got it out of the box, the truss rod needed adjustment. So the neck was actually bent this way on the guitar, and the strings were basically touching the frets. So I had to adjust the truss rod. The issue with that is, if you buy a guitar like that and you're buying it, let's say a parent's buying it for their kid, they pull that out of the box, it's unplayable. They're not like us. They don't know that you can just go up here and put a tool in it and make a quick adjustment and get that guitar, playing right. That guitar played really nice, and it was about $140. It was the DC 90 by West Creek, double cut, single P90. The Ibanez, it was a $200 AX120, which is also the AX6. It depends on which market you're in. The fit and finish on the guitar, as far as the paint and the routing, was excellent. Where that guitar really fell apart was the electronics, and the frets were so sharp they would cut your fingers. I mean, that was probably, as far as fret work, the worst guitar the channel's ever had, and it was made by Ibanez. Now, before anyone says anything, all these companies like Sire, we won't say Sire. We'll say Jackson, Ibanez, Fender. Can't really put Gibson in this. Schecter, ESP. All these companies farm out their lower end guitars either to Simac or Cort. That's who's building it. You would be surprised how many guitars you may have that's actually a Cort. You say this to people and say, well, I got an Ibanez. Is it? I mean, it's made to Ibanez's spec, but Cort's making it. On the budget end, I think there's probably maybe 4 or 5 companies. Okay? I could be completely wrong. I'm talking out of my butt right here. Just looking at budget guitars. Get on Amazon, look at Sawtooth, look at Slick, look at SBS, was that Steve Brown Sound, look at Firefly, look at all these companies. You're going to see a really close resemblance in a lot of these guitar brands. That's why I'm thinking there's probably 4 or 5 main manufacturers making all of these guitars. I know there's 3 making Firefly. When I was doing a lot of Firefly, I was getting pretty good at being able to tell which vendor was making it. And the Super Strats that had the tilted backplate right here, okay, with the sandblasted or walnut blasted ash bodies, that vendor made a nice guitar for Firefly. Their Les Paul and their Strat, it was an excellently made guitar. Excellent guitar. And I see it in Widowmaker, okay? I see the exact same thing. And there's a couple other companies doing that walnut blasted body.
Are Indonesian Squire made by Cort?
If it starts with IC, it is.
Apparently the minis are, according to Mini Guitar Society.
You can tell Indonesian, if it's made by Cort, it starts in with an IC, especially if it's a Fender product. It'll say IC in the serial number. Now, this sire says made in Indonesia, but it's a 2N2674037. So usually it'll say IC or I
And
if it's Cort.
Kurt said he just bought an 8-string Jackson Soloist that was made in the Cort factory.
Yeah. That Soloist is a nice guitar.
It's got too many strings.
Well, I like the 7-string, but there was an Ibanez at Shenandoah Music. You can ask Linnell. It was a white one. It was an 8-string. It was $4.99, and it played really nice. And it was one of their. Was that the Geo?
Which one?
That 8-string white Ibanez I wanted. It was about a year ago. At Shenandoah.
I have no idea.
I don't know if that was a Geo or what that was, but it was $4.99, and that guitar played really nice. But again, I was getting confused with the extra strings, and I get confused on the 7-string with the B string.
Jupe said you really need a cowboy hat to match that guitar.
I do. I do. I am on this Telecaster kick, guys. I don't know why. I played my white, I'm going to get some duct tape and put over the name right here. I played my white Telecaster. That guitar, it's a Fender Standard, and that's an Indonesian guitar. That freaking guitar plays nice, and I think it sounds nice. It has hardly any 60-cycle hum, and these aren't the Fender noiseless pickups in that guitar. Fender, as much as they've kind of shot themselves in the foot in multiple ways, well, we're going to go over that too tonight. I've been really quiet on the Fender stuff, but tonight, I know you guys are probably like, holy shit, he's going to talk Fender. Yeah. Anyway, those aren't the Fender noiseless pickups in that guitar. And
Kurt said, Avery, just say a Fender.
Yeah, a Fender. That's it.
Like you offended. You're an offender. Offender.
Right. They are an offender now. That's for darn sure. That guitar just has the plain Jane single coils, and it has very little 60-cycle hum. That's a nice guitar, but it took Fender and everyone really throwing them under the bus the first year they made that guitar. It hummed. We did a Strat, standard Strat, and that guitar just made a lot of noise. I liked playing it. Again, I thought you were better off, when I did the review, I thought you were better off buying the Vintage Vibe by Squire. I think it was just a better guitar. It's more Stratty than the standard Strat was. Now, I haven't looked at this year's model standard Strat, but I do know that they made changes in the Tele. And the changes they made on the Tele, 100%, that's how the guitar should have come last year at $599. But they didn't. They made the changes they should have done, and then they raised the price $80. So Fender, over the last couple of years, their pricing has just went insane. And I don't know if this new CEO of Fender, I don't know if he's a Gibson plant. I've heard rumors that, he's a Gibson fanboy and he's trying to destroy. It makes perfect sense. You send letters to everybody, and that's not even what I'll go ahead and say it. I don't know if you all saw his last interview. He was talking about cover bands, and he's talking about, even in the mid 80s, AI and all the fake artists doing, talking about shooting the people that buy your products and just going, hey, screw you, I don't want you to buy our product. when you sit there, I mean, think of bands, okay? I'm going to say 95% of bands, guess what? They play cover songs. The CEO goes out and says you're not a real band and you suck, and it's like AI generated music. It's cover.
Brian,
So it's you're stealing someone else. It's a cover band.
Brian said, just a FYI to everyone, Avery grills one mean burger.
Ooh, thank you. Yeah, we had a cookout on Sunday, so we're going to have another one. So if you're in the area and you live near Northern Virginia, send us a link on Discord. You're more than welcome to come by for burgers. We're going to do it again in about 30 days.
Mike came in. He said, hey, everybody, hope you're doing well. I'll be on and off today, but I'll be checking comments when I get back on. Hope you're all doing well.
Cool, Mike. Hopefully I did get your picture of you standing with the thing. 100% spot on, man. That was the last one I got. So keep us updated on your rehab, man. But yeah, the CEO pretty much throws every musician that's in a cover band under the bus. I mean, I don't know. I own Fender products. I'm not selling my Fender products. Okay, I'm not. I bought them because I wanted a Fender product and I wanted that sound. But they've really shot themselves in the foot. It's going to take a while for, and again, guys, YouTube covers maybe 10% of the market. I mean, in reality, it's this much. Content creators, especially people like me with a small audience, we're getting 10% of the musicians. So in the real world, outside of YouTube, does it really matter? How many professional artists, let's say, that are doing Fender, is it putting them in a peculiar place? If you're an artist and you're sponsored by Fender and you play a Fender instrument and you're on their registry as far as a Fender registered, guitar player for Fender, is it hurting you? I don't know. I don't know if it would. I mean, if that artist was a Fender artist, would I still go see him? I don't think it would bug me because he is completely separated from Fender FMIC. He has nothing to do with what that guitar company is doing. They were just approached, say, we want to build you a signature instrument. And he goes, cool, this is what I want. You build this and I'll play it. He really doesn't have any say in what Fender is doing. So I wouldn't sit there and go, well, I'm not going to go see this artist because he's sponsored by Fender. I don't think, I've heard people say that. Well, I'm not going to go see this artist. He's a Fender artist. I think that's going too far. I think if you buy a used Fender, that's nothing wrong with that. If you want to boycott Fender, just don't buy anything new. And in reality, Fender, what you see in the stores, Fender already has that money. So when you go into Guitar Center or Sweetwater, not buying it really isn't hurting Fender. Fender's already made their mark on that guitar. I hate to, and it's weird. You're hurting Guitar Center and Sweetwater. Now, granted, if once they sell out, they're going to reorder again. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is Fender's already gotten the money for it. So the only way to directly impact them, well, I guess don't buy anything on Fender.com, but maybe reach out to your salesperson and say, look, I want it, but, I really don't want to support Fender. But that's a hard one. If you understand what I'm saying, Fender has the money for it. Sweetwater has it. AMS already has it. That instrument's already been bought and paid for. I'll leave that decision up to you all. But buying a used one, that's going to the individual. And it might be a good time to buy. A lot of these artists, I'm going to burn my Fender. Fine, sell it to me cheap. I'm really to that point on it. I just wanted to bring it up because I saw his last interview talking about AI content and comparing AI content to people doing cover music. And the guy has literally done everything that he could possibly do to hurt the company. And I don't understand why. Fender already lost that suit in the United States, so it's just going to complicate it in the UK. I think everyone would have been on Fender's side if they went after the Chibson, or what do they call it, Chinders, the Japanese companies that are putting Fender on the name. It's a Fender. No, it's not. It's a Chinder. So it's just like a Chibson. I think that needs to stop. And a lot of that, and I hate to say it, is our U.S. customs. That stuff comes over here. It's got to go through customs. Fender is not making in China. Gibson's not making that product. It's Epiphone. Stop it there. I think if Fender would have done that, and then maybe on some of these companies that are making a direct look-alike where the headstock is very close to the Fender headstock, it's a Strat, and it just says another company's name on it, I think maybe they would have had a leg to stand on that if the headstock was similar, very similar. Going after ESP or Yamaha, where the body is obviously, when I look at a Pacifica, I don't see a Fender Stratocaster. I don't. There's nothing about that guitar that says Stratocaster to me. So sending that letter to them, when I heard about that, that's when I kind of went, okay, that there's absolutely no resemblance to a Stratocaster and a Pacifica. The body's completely different. It's fatter back here. The horns are skinnier and longer. The headstock is completely different. It's a completely different guitar. Harley Benton, on the other hand, that's pretty close, but the headstock is different. And that seems to be the rule of thumb across the industry. That's why I give Firefly so much leeway. When Firefly makes their George Lynch copy, they're not putting the ESP headstock on it with ESP or LTD. It's Firefly's proprietary headstock design, and it says Firefly. When they make their Zakk Wylde rip-off guitars of Wylde guitars, they're not using the Zakk Wylde headstock. It still has a Firefly headstock, and it says Firefly. I mean, it's obvious they're copying the other guitar company, but they're using their headstock. They have 4 different headstock models. They have their LP headstock. They got their pointy Strat headstock. Then they got their Jackson, and then that goofy Telly headstock that's got it's a larger bump right here. It's not a Telly and it's not a Strat. That one's really weird. But they say Firefly. I don't have an issue with that because they're promoting their company. Does it look like a Wylde? Does it look like the Bones guitar? That they do. But it's a different headstock. They're using their headstock. So free pass to them. I think the headstock is where it's at. To go now after 70 years and say, this is our body, no one else can do it, that's kind of crazy. And I'm just talking as a guy that once played semi-pro, and someone made a comment about that. Technically, right now, you could say, I make money doing music. Now, it's YouTube, but YouTube does pay this channel a little bit of money, okay? So technically, you could say, I do this professionally. I make money. Could I make a living? Freaking hell no. I would have to make, what do we do? About 200 a month, 180?
Yeah.
Times that by a lot. And that's what I would have to make a month to do this as a living. And I don't think I'd want to. simply because it's not dependable. So I'm not saying like you guys giving super chats and stuff like that's not dependable. It's just times are hard. I get that. What I do at my full-time job, how I afford this, YouTube doesn't pay for it. You know, I have to work for it. But I create a product that people want. And they pay me for that service because they want that product. Okay? So as long as I do good work and I'm punctual and I'm on time, I should be okay. Now, YouTube, I can work my tail off and do what I feel is the best content, and I may or may not get any clicks or views, which hurts ad revenue, and maybe everyone's a little tight. They don't give a super chat this month. So that kicks it down. It's a hard game. So I get it. I understand the game behind it. But when someone says they're semi-pro, that's anyone that's out playing, okay? When I was semi-pro, we were backing up pro bands, okay? Maybe once every 2 months. I mean, a big band. We would go, any venue that they go to, and they need 3 acts, their second act usually tours with them. The third act is usually local talent. I consider those people semi-pro. We went 4 hours away from home to play. We would go into North Carolina and up into Pennsylvania and play gigs, and we got paid. That's a semi-pro artist. I've said it a million times. Why didn't I pursue music? I wasn't good enough. You had to have everything, and I just did not have everything. You got to have the looks, you got to have the moves, you got to be able to play phenomenally well. You have to have retention. And that was my weakest point, was retention. Being able to remember 200 plus songs. Because you might go somewhere and play, and that set list doesn't work. So you have to be able to turn around and look at your bandmates and go, okay, it's not working here. We need to do something new. I always forget to turn my phone off. We need to do something new because this isn't working. And that's where I failed. If we didn't play it at least once in 2 or 3 weeks, I wouldn't remember the song. I had a retention issue. As far as playing, I didn't have to be a great lead guitar player. I wasn't the lead guitar player. I just had to play solid rhythm. And I'm a firm believer in KISS, keep it simple, stupid. And that's how I approached guitar. I would keep it simple. I was more worried about keeping the timing of the song and making sure I come in and out of my verses, my bridges, making sure I was in time and I was playing properly and clean. I did not try to be a flash guitar player. That's why I always played. If I couldn't play guitar, there was times where I picked up the bass and played bass. I think playing bass taught me more about being a rhythm guitar player than anything else. And it gave me a respect for bass players that I didn't have before. When the bass player loses time or doesn't keep that bass rhythm going, the song falls apart. You might not even pay attention when you're listening. It's like, oh, I don't hear any bass. That bass is there, and he's driving that song. He's driving that song. When they screw up, it falls apart. And I didn't realize how important bass was until I started playing bass in bands. And I would misfret, or I'd go, okay, where's this change? Where's the bridge? And I would misstep. It fell apart. And I realized how that basic instrument, even playing basic lines, held that song together. The bass player, very important member of the band. It's like having a drummer that can't keep the same tempo. That's hard to play with. A drummer that keeps good tempo and lands on time, that's hard to find. and it's hard to find a bass player that gets it. And I would probably say the hardest thing to find is a rhythm guitar player that gets it. Because when you get two guitar players in a band, usually they're always competing on who's better. And they're always trying to trample on you. They're always turning up their amp. They're too loud. They're always trying to be, the next Joe Satriani, if that makes sense. I never had that issue. I just kept it simple. I just had retention issues. Was out, I think we were down in North Carolina playing. Woke up, pretty rough night. Well, I guess you could say it was a rough night. Woke up, didn't like the environment I was in, and just made a decision. I'm not going to do this anymore. I am not going to. I'm not going to drive 5 hours away from home, make X money, blow it all in beer and drugs, and not have anything to write home about. So I didn't like the position I was in, so I stopped playing. And when I say I stopped, I mean I literally stopped. I didn't play the guitar for about maybe 10 years. When I stopped, I stopped. I didn't sell my equipment, but I did stop playing. And I devoted all my time to work. And I don't know, I guess I picked it up occasionally, here and there. And I realized that music is something that we love, and it's a part of you. So when you take that music out of your life, it changes you. And it took me 10 years to kind of figure out that it's an outlet for emotion, and I think everyone needs it. And if you're not a musician, you have another form, you have another way of getting that frustration or sadness or happiness, something that you can offload that emotion to. For us, it's music. And when you take that away, it's almost like putting a cork in a soda bottle and shaking it up. And then when you pop that cork, it just explodes. That's what happened to me. Linnell really got me playing again, playing. I mean, I was tinkering around, but as far as playing religiously and actually, doing music and thinking about getting better and not just goofing off, I had to contribute that to Linnell, bringing it back to me, if that makes sense. You got anything to add to that, hon?
No, I'm like stuffing my face.
Oh my gosh. She's got one of the vanilla wafer chocolate things in there.
It's a mighty buddy.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got this thing hooked up here. I am going to unmute the rack, and we want everyone to hear the sound. So we are still using the MXR. If you did not watch the last stream, right here, we have a little MXR 10-band EQ. So I got that on. Now, when Brian was over here, guys, I'll say this. Brian was here, and you probably can't see it. I got two Wolfdale control room drivers in here. And when you're playing models, there's no sound in the room. So what I've noticed, to really get the guitar to speak to you and start acting right, when he come over, he was playing my SWR amp and my bass because someone forgot his bass. So we plugged along with my bass and the SWR amp, and I realized something when I turned up my system, and I was getting a decent volume. The guitar, this guitar and the sounds, it plays so much easier that you're getting that room volume comes back into the pickups, and you can do so much more that I struggle doing now because I don't have that signal hitting the guitar. Everything just works better at volume. And I'm not saying that I dislike this. It's now that he was over Sunday and we did that. Monday, when I started playing, I instantly felt handicapped, I guess would be the word, because everything, like I'm hitting the note. That right there at volume, okay, the notes resonate more out. I'm not having to. I'm not smacking the tarnation out of the guitar to get that note to hit. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. I think it's phenomenal, the modeling concept here, okay? Because all we're doing is we're using a line 6 stomp right here. To get this sound out of a line 6 stomp and a little EQ pedal, it's kind of crazy. It really is. But I don't have the room volume to really get the guitar to start talking. I know it sounds like it's doing it. Maybe it's a perception thing. Maybe I'll go back and listen to the stream and go, well, that seems to be working fine. My perception when playing the guitar is different. The way the guitar responds to the... Right there, I would have been getting feedback. I feel like it wants to do it, but since there's no room volume, I can't get it. And I think that is what I missed the most.
Ted said, okay, so I missed it. What brand is that?
What brand is what?
Yeah, I guess your guitar.
This is a Sire. This is Sire's new guitar for this year. It's a 2026. It's a T7 in the swirl dip. This guitar is not a locking bass tremolo. And you guys see what I'm doing to it. This guitar is actually kind of crazy.
Devastator said to tell you that he's begging you to let the Iceman out of the dungeon. LOL.
I tell you what, on Saturday stream, we'll dig it out. I got it on the wall right now. So Saturday stream, we'll bring the Iceman up and play the Iceman. The Iceman pickups are probably going to be a little hotter than these on the Sire. I'm thinking. I like those pickups in that. Every time I play this, I'm so impressed with the tremolo system on this guitar. This is a heck of a guitar.
Brett of Andy said he still wants to see you try some chicken picking.
I'm working on the chicken picking. Chicken picking's hard to do, guys. It's a lot of. That's a lot of this come from the chicken picking. Let me switch sounds here. Most of this. A lot of that came from me trying to learn the chicken picking.
You need to do a giveaway plug for the new people.
For the guitar?
Yeah, the guitar giveaway. The new people, you need to say something about it.
Yep. That's actually where a lot of that come from. That's why people are like, well, that's kind of outside your box. And I'm like, okay, but I would have never come up with that little ditty if I wouldn't have been practicing chicken picking. And people are like, well, that didn't sound anything like chicken picking. You're right, because I can't chicken pick. But when I was practicing, trying to get the concept down, that kind of come up, if that makes sense. Our guitar giveaway, guys, is right here. I'm probably going to have to tune it. So we have a Cort 280 Select. It's a wonderful guitar. Let me give it a tune.
What's the amp in your stack?
The amp in my stack? I play an SGX 2000 Express, and I'm running that 4-cable method through a Synergy Friedman unit. And in my effects loop, I'm running a BBE 362 and an applied, it's a Audio Media Research inline tube amp. So there's actually 4 preamp stages when I run the SGX 2000. So that's actually what's in my rack. So I'm still running applied research technology.
Jupe said use your toes.
Use my what?
Use your toes.
Use my toes. So this is the court. That's our bridge position. This is second position. Third position. Fourth position. This guitar's got a great sound. Fifth position. The tremolo on this guitar also. It's softer than the Sire. It reminds me of a firmer feel like what a Jazzmaster has. Let's put some hair in this. That's our fifth position, down to our neck position or bridge position, sorry. It's actually, when I reviewed this guitar, and what was the other one, a 290?
I think so.
I think it was a 290. I don't think that one was a Select. Both those Cort guitars, go back and watch the reviews. Stupid good guitars. There's nothing that holds you back on this guitar. It plays so nice. And I don't even, the action on the guitar is actually a little higher than what I actually like, but it plays so nice. I just didn't mess with it. It's how it was set up originally. It's just such a nice guitar. Check out the heel joint on it. And it's a one-piece maple neck. There's no seam here where they added to make the beak. There's no scarf joint on the neck. It's one solid piece of maple. It's just a really nice, well-made instrument. And I think we've always done really nice giveaways. This time I just wanted to do, both courts impressed me so much. And when I took them back, I was sitting there going, you know what? We need to do a better guitar giveaway. You know, the Gretsch we just gave away, I think Steve won. That's a great guitar too. Okay, there's nothing wrong with it. This is just a better guitar, if that makes sense. I'm one on the HSS. I think it's a working man's guitar. You can get so many different sounds out of this thing. It's not a heavy guitar. It comes from the factory. It's already got locking tuners on it. You don't have to do anything to this. You just buy it, take it out of the box, and just take it out and jam. There's no upgrades needed. It doesn't need anything. That, in my opinion, I think this guitar, was this one, this one's $599 MAT price, isn't it?
I believe so.
Okay, at $599, we'll just take my Ibanez RGA. I paid $479 for that guitar. Okay, I put locking tuners on it. They were $60. And I put guitar head pickups in it. They were $60. And I put a high mass bridge on it, which was $100. That RGA is already over $100 more than this guitar. And the RGA has a scarf joint neck. Which is the better buy? I think this is. I love my RGA. Okay, now I got to customize it and do it exactly the way I wanted it. But it's $100 more than this guitar. And if you don't have a soldering iron and you don't feel comfortable ripping pickups out of your guitar and putting tuning keys on it and replacing the bridge, this is definitely the better buy. That's kind of what the channel's about. At the same token, if I look at the RGA and what it does, I still think that's a good buy. If the RGA fits you, which it does, I love the RGA. It fits my lap right. I love the thin neck that it has. That's why I modified that guitar. I played Linnell's RGA for like 6 months. And finally, I was just like, you know, I need to get one of these. This is a great instrument. So I bought it and I modded it the way I wanted. Did I need to change the bridge? No. Did I need to change the pickups? No. The stock pickups in the RGA are decent pickups. Really, you could buy that stock, just put tuning keys on it, and you could go anywhere and play that guitar. So you're at like $550. Okay? The stock Ibanez tuners weren't horrible, but the locking tuners that I put on it just make it that much more stable. The hip shot bridge that I put, which is the high mass bridge, which is thicker, I had to put a shim in the neck to kick the neck back because I wanted that extra mass. Is it better than the stock bridge? Yeah, it's more mass. Can I pick the guitar up now and go, wow, it's got so much more sustain? No. Again, the channel's about honesty. Is there more sustain? Probably. It's got a little bit better pickup in it, and it has a higher mass bridge in it. If you A-beat them, the way it is now probably has a little more sustain. Can I notice it? No. I don't notice it having more sustain than it had. I do hear the difference in the pickups. The pickups are more my sound. Okay, I love the Quantums, but I think the Z-Buckers have more what I like. I like that late 80s, early 90s, in-your-face attack sound. And I think the Z-Bucker and the Hex Buckers, that one has Hex Buckers, I think they just have that. It's a hot-rodded PAF. That's what it is. The Hex Bucker's a little hotter than the Z-Bucker. The Z-Bucker's a PAF on steroids. The Hex Bucker is with steroids and a booster shot or something. Still very similar in sound. The Quantums are more edgy, if that makes sense. They're more, if you're more a DiMarzio fan, you might like the Quantums over the guitar head pickups. And that's just taste, again. So going back to this guitar, it's kind of hard to beat this guitar. And you can find these. I think someone found one for $480, what was it, $480 or $489 on Amazon right now for the 280 Select. So basically, right now I think you can get this guitar for like $500. But we're giving it away. So all you have to do is be publicly subscribed to the channel, okay? And the only reason we want that is so we can verify that you are actually a subscriber to the channel. The next thing you have to do is you have to go over to our Discord page and you have to fill out a small form on the 280 Select Guitar giveaway. Basically, all that form does, it allows us to auto-populate the spinny wheel, okay? And lets us know that you're entering, okay? That's we just don't want to sit there and manually type in 50 names or 60 names or 30 names, however many entries we get. Wait, it's a lot of work. And everyone that's affiliated with this channel, we make no money. And that again, I want to say thank you to Steve. Steve has done some really cool stuff in our Discord. The man is like a computer programming wizard. He's got it set up now where it sends out notifications every time I post a new video or if I'm going live. That's super cool. He's the one that did the little form, and it auto-populates this other form so Devastator and I can do the spinny wheel thing. Devastator, he started the forum, started all the rooms, and between them two, they have that thing really nice now. I can't say thank you enough to our moderators that have done so much for the channel. And they don't get paid, guys. In reality, since I started YouTube, I'm probably $5,000 in the hole since I started YouTube. And that's fine. It's $5,000 well spent. This is like therapy for me. Coming in here, sitting down, playing guitar, talking to you guys. You guys are like family. So that's why I want to try to keep the channel as, well, keep it the way it is, honest. I want to be able to get a product, tell you what I think of it, and we're all big boys here, so we can discuss the product in the chat, or in the comment section, and we can talk about what we like about it and what we dislike about it. Especially if you have the product. Those are the people that I want to hear from the most. Do you have this guitar? If someone has the 280 Select, I want you to post down in the comments section of this video. Tell me what you think of it. This is the guitar giveaway. I don't think they, at the price point on this guitar, I don't think they could have really done anything else to it. The tremolo holds tune. It's got locking tuners. Even the string tree, it's a roller string tree, so it doesn't catch the strings. The nuts cut great. It's got really good fretwork. I'd have to go back and watch the review. I'm pretty sure with the frets were very decent on this guitar. I think there was like one or two little spots. It was not bad. At this price point, it's kind of hard to beat. And that's why I decided to not do a guitar giveaway until we were able to bring this one home. I did have to buy 2 guitars. So the other guitar is still, shh, you guys won't know what that one is for a while. But I can tell you right now, it's as awesome as this one. But that one's not going to be the next guitar giveaway. I'm looking at something else for the next guitar giveaway, and the 2 I had to buy to get the special deal, that other one will be after that one. So that's what you got to do. Hopefully more people will subscribe and go over and join Discord and join in the conversation there. We got JR Custom Shop. We got Brian, the little lobster guy. Both of those guys work on guitars for a living. They make a living working and servicing on guitars. So if you post a question or you need help with something, they are professionals. That's what they do. Okay? They can help you. They really can. That's what the Discord's about. Not only that, there's Kurt, there's Devastator, there's Steve. Steve's really talented. There's so many, and if I'm forgetting you that you've posted Wicked Fester, there's so many people that have posted links and made comments to help other people when they're doing something. That's what it's about. So if you see a topic on there and you think you can contribute and you can help that person, or make a comment, hey, did you think about this? Or have you thought about this product or that? That's what that person's posting about. He's reaching out to the community for the community to kind of, hey, I need some help, or what do you guys think type thing. And that's really what it's about. That's what the comments here are about. You guys come here for that type of content so you can talk and hang out. I think we have got to be at the 1 hour mark.
Yeah, it's like 5 after 9.
You know what time it is? It's Vox time. Vox time, that means it's break time. We're probably going to lose a couple people that are watching. But if you're not familiar with the channel, we always take a 5-minute break. That allows you to go to the restroom, get something to drink, get some vittles, and when we come back, we're going to open up the chat window. We're going to just kind of look at the chat, maybe answer some questions or talk about whatever topic that you guys want to talk about. Thursday nights normally are review night. But I got so excited last Saturday night, we did Thursday night's review last Saturday. So I kind of got things all tumbled up now. I am working on the next product. So possibly next Thursday we'll have another guitar or an effects pedal. It seems to be, I'm going to look at the poll. It seems like you guys want more effects pedals. So we'll probably get another effects pedal into review. Anyway, let's take our 5-minute break. And we'll be back in like 5 minutes. I do have to change the window, though. Let me switch cameras here. Let me see which window we got here. It's probably going to play the jingle again, so I apologize. I don't remember if I turned the jingle off. But it'll be 5 minutes. We'll be right back.
The hard facts are
Okay, guys. Let me double check everything, make sure everything's up and running right. I did get my microphone back on, so I'm going to turn this guy off. All right. So, I'm going to look back at the chat, see if we missed anything. What did we miss? We have any comments as far as new topics? Recently did a compare between a Magnaflip and wire flip for a Peter Green mod. That's Birdman. Talking about a natural finished bass. You know, you got a couple different options there. I put one up, so did Kurt. You know, when it comes to basses, I'm trying to think. That was a Schecter that I really liked that Schecter. That was a natural finish bass. It was an ash body, and the grain had a really pretty look to it. I like that. I like that offset with the ash, where it's an eroded body, where it's blasted with walnut shells. That was a cool looking Schecter. So I know Schecter makes one that looks really cool. That was a 4-string. If that would have been a 5-string, I would have probably bought that, but I didn't. Is my mic fading? Yeah, I didn't get these charged, so it could be a charge issue. We can switch back. Hold on. Yeah, somebody forgot to charge the microphones. I forgot. I didn't charge this. I just charged the transmitter. So I'm actually liking the DJIs. They seem to work really well. I just forgot to charge them, and that's bad. It comes in a little case, but after the stream, I stuck them back in the case, and I didn't plug the case in. So yeah, I kind of shot myself in the foot. I do like regular microphones. Maybe I should just use the regular microphones, and then when Brian comes over and we do tech talk, we'll probably use the DJIs. No, it's probably an operator error. This guy, like I said, I forgot to charge the. Let me show you. I forgot to charge this guy. So this is you can actually see, even though I had it plugged in to the computer, it's only reading 25% on this, and the little transmitters I didn't charge at all. But I'm kind of digging this little system. I'm liking the case. Again, we're going to continue to use it once I charge it. And you guys can be the judge on whether or not you like it. I don't think that you can go wrong with wired microphones. I do like the wired microphones better as far as sound quality. You really can't beat them. But when we're doing tech talk and both of us are here and we're back away from the camera, I think the wireless is the way to go there. We're going to go back and forth. You guys can tell me what you think. My Schecter C1 Platinum is a keeper. Yeah, I haven't played too many Schecter C1s that I haven't liked. And the good thing about the C1's really, they make some affordable models of that. And they actually make some high-end models of it. So I think that guitar, I think it starts at like $450, $500 is the base C1, and then it goes up from there. I have a Mach 6 neck through Schecter. That is a stupid nice guitar, probably the nicest guitar that this guy owns. That's a nice guitar. Nicest one I own as far as playability, durability. It's got the Sustainiac in it, so that's a great guitar. I like the Ibanez Premium SR5F MDX2 5-string, natural, but it's pretty pricey. Yeah, I always hear good things about the Sire basses. I don't know if you've looked into Sire. Like I said, Schecter does a good bass. Of course, Ibanez makes a good bass. There's a lot of good ones out there. I hear hit and miss, though, on Spectre. If Brian is still in the chat, Brian can tell you what he's seen on the Spectre stuff. And it could be just the import Spectre stuff, but I'm pretty sure that he said some of that stuff was hit and miss from Spectre. I always thought that was a really high-end bass brand, but maybe they've kind of fallen off with imports. Other than that, the bass that I have is a Squier Custom Shop, which is no longer produced. I love my 5-string. Wicked Fender jazz bass. Yeah, you can't. The P bass and the jazz bass. What can you say? You really can't go wrong with the P bass or with the Fender. Yeah, Brian just said, yeah, not a fan. Yeah, I don't know what happened to Spectre, but I'll trust Brian's opinion on it. They're a Spectre dealer, so evidently they've had some problems with the Spectre. So if you're looking at that type guitar, you might want to ask Brian in Discord about it. Ask him what he's seen, maybe some issues that may arise if you get one. Yeah, Michael Kors says the expensive Spectres are great. A friend got one and promptly sold several other basses. That's what I always heard, Michael. I always heard that they were like stupid good. Maybe it's just the import line. Brian can give you more information on that. If I was looking for a new bass right now, I would probably look at Fender. I hate to say it. A jazz bass or a P bass. One of those two, 5-string. Or I would go that 4-string Schecter Shenandoah Music had. I fell in love with that thing. That thing played so nice. And they were trying to get rid of it. If that would have been a 5-string, I would have bought that. But it was a 4-string. I've got a 5-string now. I want to stick with 5-string. I have a learned behavior issue. So if I start playing the 4-string and I go back to the 5-string, it's going to cause some issues with me. Just going back and forth between the two. So I need to stick with the 5-string. Music Man has always been good stuff, Birdman. A friend of mine had a little Music Man. It reminded me of a Fender Twin Reverb amp. It was a black face Music Man 212. That was, I don't know what amp it was. It was an older amplifier, but that thing really sounded nice. Music Man guitars are nice. Music Man makes good stuff. That's all you can say. I don't know if anyone else got any ideas. You can't go wrong with a Fender bass. Kurt. Yeah, that's how I am. I like my Squier. And that's a Indonesian Squier that's made by Court. That's IC Custom Shop. I think. I don't know. I have to go back and look at that because that was a Custom Shop one. But I'm pretty sure that was Court that made that for them. Mad Hatter just come in. He always puts that. Whenever I see the big orange tag at MusicNGear, I know it's him. Good to see you, man. Yeah, I think I would lean towards Fender or Schecter. And I've played a couple Jackson basses, believe it or not, that I actually liked. From what I understand, most people don't really care for the Jackson basses. I've played a few that I actually liked. Trying to think of another one. Yeah, I would just stick with Schecter or Fender. That's me. Oh, let me see. Most of the Indonesian maximum built models are great. Just got a Squier Affinity PJ bass and is great for $369. Yeah, Squire's hard to beat. I say this all the time. The Vintage Vibes, great guitars. They got that 40th anniversary bass that they made. That thing is stupid nice. You know, that might be something that you want to look for. If they didn't sell well because they were expensive. Squire had that 40th anniversary with aluminum iodized pickguard, and they made I'm pretty sure they made a jazz bass and a P bass version. If you could find one of those, that would be a heck of a bass. Now that I think about it, yeah, I looked at a couple of those, so you might want to look at something like that. Get on Reverb. There are still 40th anniversaries out there. I was trying to find the 40th anniversary Squire Telecaster in the forest green with the gold iodized pickguard and the gold hardware. There's one or two on Reverb, and there's a couple black ones that are still brand new. So those 40th anniversaries were nice instruments. When they come out, they were like $5.99, which, again, you got to look at price points. That's a little steep for Squire, and $5.99 on the Fender side for the standard model when it first come out. You know, they got to watch their product line on where they're at. You know, I don't understand why I don't hear you in the microphone, honey. Oh, okay. That would be why I don't hear you. All right, try that again.
Mad Hatter wants to know if it's cocoa or coffee.
This is cocoa. So I'm a diabetic, so when I talk a lot, my sugar starts going down. So during break, we'll start the coffee maker, and we run cocoa through it. But it's a coffee maker. She just puts the water on it, puts the cocoa in the cup, and it's really simple. So that's why I muted her mic, because that it makes a lot of noise. And she's actually in the kitchen. Yeah, it's cocoa. I see Beretta Vandy said Peavy. The old Peavy basses, I'm going to say mid 80s, probably to like 94. Stupid good basses, if you can find one of those. Beretta Vandy would be the guy to ask on which ones, because he worked there during those years when the Peavy's heydays. He can tell you which ones are the ones to definitely get. He's the inside man on that. He's right there in the chat, so maybe he has an inside pick on a Peavy that would be good for you. Tees. So close, but no queen. Oh, I thought you were talking. I was like, does Tees make a freaking bass?
No, they saw my hand. That was about it.
Oh, yeah. Tees is never sending this channel a guitar, I can tell you. I think I burnt that bridge. We need a Linnell cam. Right now we only have 2 cameras. Got that one and this one. So those are the 2 that we're dealing with. I'm not running any other cameras. And the reason for that is the other cameras are USB, and we're taking USB load off the computer. So if I switch this over to this camera, I don't know if you guys can see this. So this is my video switcher. It's made by Black Magic Design, and I'm able to have 4 cameras total. So right now I have 2 HDMI cameras that come in HDMI to that. So we can expand. I have to pay this stuff off, and then we'll talk about it. I think though, for what I want the channel to do, I think these 2 good cameras is all I need. I can use my Mevos for overhead shots when we do reviews and stuff, and they'll be good enough. I can bring one of the Mevos in, do a close-up of the electronics and stuff like that. I think that's going to be fine. My next purchase is probably going to be something guitar-oriented to update my guitar rig. Or we're going to do some type of update on my guitar rig, my rack mount rig. Going to be a new piece of rack gear, hopefully. And what's sad is rack. A lot of these companies aren't doing rack stuff, and that kind of throws me off. I'm a rack guy. I like rack mount stuff, so that's going to kind of limit my choices. I was kind of hoping the Quad Cortex would come out with something in a rack. So right now my choices as far as multi effects processor, modeler / everything, I'm pretty much down to a Helix or an Axe-Fx. I don't want a Kemper, so that throws that one out. If someone else knows, or I'm not looking at the pink purple Sedano either. Even though that's a nice preamp, there's no effects. So if I buy that, it's pretty much what I already have in my Synergy. So I think the Helix rack mount would be a good option for me, or the Axe-Fx. And I could use either one of those 2 units with my Synergy rack mount. And I would still use my inline tube amp. I probably would not use the 362 anymore. I could probably pull that out. And the only time I would use the inline tube amp, the Audiometer Research, I would use that on the Helix. I think you can tell it where you want the effects loop to be. So after the modeled amplifier, I think the Helix only has 1 effects loop is the problem. But that's okay. I would put that effects loop right after the amp model, and I would go into that line preamp that has the 12 AX7s right back in, and I would try to warm up that artificial amp in the Helix, and then just use Helix effects. The advantage to my SGX 2000, it has 2 effects loops. So I can do effects on one, and I can sweeten my preamp tone. If I'm using one of the solid state preamps in my SGX, I can use that to sweeten it up and warm up the signal. Kurt could probably tell me. I know he just bought one, but I'm pretty sure the Helix rack only has 1 effects loop. I don't think it has 2 effects loops, but I could make it work. So being that the Helix is like $1,200 cheaper than the Axe-Fx, that will most likely be the unit that I get. So I want to look at the poll that we have up. If you haven't voted in the poll, I'm getting ready to end it. So right now it says more rack mount content is at 25%. So you guys seem to like the rack mount stuff. So we will do a little bit more rack mount stuff. Behind the show content. Now, if you didn't know what I meant by that, that's kind of like what goes on back here and the struggles that I have with this equipment. Okay. There's a rack of stuff over here. That's where the Helix rack, my mixer is, all my gates, compressors, headphone amplifiers, signal processors up there, power amplifiers in the bottom, video switcher, interface, line 6 stomp, pedal for the rack mount so we can emulate cabinets, monitors, 2 computers. So that's pretty much the system right now. I didn't have much time this week to work on any scenery or get things moved around. My goal is to shift everything that you see here over there. So my goal is to get the stuff moved, and I'll have more access to my rack that I have over here. And I need to consolidate things, if that makes sense. It's kind of scattered out across the room. If anyone has a studio in their house, you kind of get it. Sometimes you just got to kind of move stuff around, see how your workflow works. Does it work for you? Can you reach everything? Right now, this does not really work too well, other than for me streaming and doing the live show. It works fine for that. I can reach what I need. But if I'm playing my guitar, I have to reach over to this rack, or I got to roll all the way over there. It's not too good. Kurt just posted the Helix rack has 4 effect sends and returns. It has 4? Or how many of those are stereo? Or is it just all mono?
And Devastator said, how's the 4-day work week transition coming?
I had last week was a 4-day work week. I have to work tomorrow. I don't have 40 hours in. I'm a little under. So technically I could work 4 hours tomorrow and still have my 40 hours, which I might do. I really need to just buckle down and do my 10 hours every day. I felt so much better last weekend, guys. Having Friday off just was so much easier on me. I have a very physical job, and I know that. Even though from what I'm told, I'm the second person in line on top of the company. Sometimes I don't feel like that. So, what's the old saying? Sometimes you feel like a donkey. But I'm not one of those bosses that just tell you something, go do this, go do that. I can't do that. It's just not me. Ooh, thank you, Angry Trucker Bob. I'm going to try my buttons. Oh, it's not loud enough. Got my buttons working, guys. Actually, they were working last week, and I didn't realize it until I watched the stream. All that is post past the wing rack. So I was listening to the feed out from the wing. So tonight we're actually listening monitor-wise post interface.
Kurt said 2 stereo, 4 mono.
Cool. That makes me feel a lot better about it. I don't think I could go wrong with the Helix rack. I know it's been out for a while, and I'm getting better at programming this unit. Now, earlier, I was getting, the guitar was a little overgained, and the reason for that is, this is our living room. So a lot of times, things get moved around. So the volume output on the guitar, on the MXR, was cranking. So right here is our giveaway guitar. This is a mean playing guitar.
Jit Boy said Axe is great. He has an Axe 3, but uses Kemper now.
Yeah, I really, even what did I just say, guys? I built this computer. But that's different. It was only $400 to make the change. When I look at the Helix at like $1,500 or the Axe effects at like $2,400, that's a $900 difference. I mean, if I was out, see, I think both of those units are quality units. I was getting ready to say if I was out, playing the Axe effects. I think they're both quality units. I think once I learned it, I think I could get a good sound out of either one. And I'm kind of getting the Line 6 Stomp. The only thing I hear about the Axe effects is it's a huge learning curve. I've got so much new stuff. It would probably serve me better to stick with Helix. It seems to be a more user-friendly interface from what I understand. So I'm probably going to go Helix just for that reason. And it's been out for so long, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. I can get on the forums, I can download some other people's stuff, and I can download a sound that I like. Then I can look at what they do to get this sound. I can go in, I can go, oh, okay, he's doing this, he's doing that. I can have a frame of reference. Where in the Axe Effects, I'm not saying there's not a lot of stuff out there. There is. There's a ton of stuff that you can download in that, but it is so involved and there's so much you can do with it. I think it's probably just past my ability in programming and understanding. It's what's the old saying? Sometimes it's better to take baby steps. I think that might be too big of a step for me.
Jip Boy said yes, big learning curve.
Yeah, and I've heard that, man, from a couple different people. And it's hard. I don't do this for a living, so I don't want to. And I tell this even with my rack mount programmable equipment. I want to plug in. I want to play. I don't want to sit there and tweak settings all night. I want something that I can plug into, and it's not overly complicated. I can kind of write my own songs or my own settings, get some decent sounds out of it, and play. And I was bad. I used to sit hours in front of my rack amp and just tweak sounds. And before I knew it, it was 3 hours went by, and all I did is just tweak on sounds.
Beretta Vandy wants to know if you've ever tried the Donner Arena 3000.
I have not. But those units are great. I'm not saying that those units aren't. I think the GP5, GP50, and the GT200, I think they're great. It's a different level component. The rack mount Helix is a professional piece of gear.
Mad Hatter said you never disappoint when it comes to shredding some blistering riffs. You never disappoint regardless.
Oh, thank you, man. Like I said, I'm trying to be a better guitar player. I really am. I think I'm capable. I just need to be more disciplined, if that makes sense. And that goes back to what I just said. Why I would sit hours tweaking sounds. Now, as much as I love my tube amp, I find myself tweaking my sounds less using the Line 6 stomp. I don't know why. I come home, the computer's on. I just plug into my little tuner here and I start playing. I don't find myself tweaking and doodling and messing around with it. I just sit down and I do what I'm supposed to do. I play my guitar and I have fun with it. That's why I'm thinking the Helix would work for me. I could stick it right above my wing rack, bam, and I'll have an interface on my other monitor. If I do want to make an adjustment, I don't have to reach over and screw with anything. I just feel for where I am in my guitar playing journey right now that would be ideal for me. And if I ever did start playing again in a band, I can get a foot controller for it. And I know the Helix is capable. There's so many people that play out professionally, playing places with a Helix. You could set that thing up just like I had my old X15 units for my art. I had 2 of them. I'm pretty sure you can put expression pedals on that. So I could have one for my volume and one for my gain. That's how I used to have mine set up. Volume, gain, wah, and I don't remember what I had 4 expression pedals because I was running 2 X15s. And my one X15 was chained up and down, and the other one was presets. If I stomped on this, it went immediately to preset 39 or preset 70. And the other one was set up in chain banks. So I'd have, I think it was in groups of 9. So when you hit the up button, it was 9 different patches. Hit the up button, 9 different patches, or you could go up and down. And it just worked for me. And that's all I had. I had my 2 X15s in front of me. I had my monitor, my microphone here, and my rack was way back there. The Helix would definitely be able to do the exact same thing. But I'm never going to be in that scenario where I need anything like that. The places around here, it's going to be, I'll be honest with you, most of the places around here, you'd be lucky 300-400 people max. So they're smaller venues. The Helix again, perfect. I could have a small rack box, throw it up on the thing, go straight front of house. Just tell the sound guy, I need to hear me in that and some vocals. Done. Or if they're using in-ears, just say, I need a little bit of my guitar signal and some vocals. It's only going to be so much of a quiet stage because you're going to have a drummer. Unless he's playing electric drums, you're going to have something to cue off of.
Brett of Andy, he had to lay down, so his wife is playing relay on the keyboard. So it says Beretta is an old fart. Most of his equipment is older than his kids. He calls it old school tube stuff.
Dude, I love tubes. I love freaking tubes. I'm not playing tubes right now. I'm playing a model, but there's a difference. But before we say that, remember what I said at the beginning of the stream? Even on this modeling amp, when Brian was over here the other night jamming with me on the bass, and I had my model cranked up through the PA system, it had a completely different feel. It felt more like my tube amp. It responded like my tube amp. It was so close where, I'll be honest with you, it wouldn't bug me, not even a little bit. It just wouldn't. I would have no problem at all forever getting that sound. It was that nice. You can call me whatever you want to call me. I'm not saying that it was better. I felt that it was doing everything I needed it to do to give me back the feedback I needed to play. And I had volume in the room, and that volume was going back into the guitar, giving that guitar that warmth and that feel. Now, there's nothing in the room. And that's where you hear it, because I don't have any room volume. So hitting those notes, they don't pop out at you like they do when you have, volume in the room. What was that, hon?
Oh, I was kind of giggling. Beretta Vandy. It says I want him to find something that he can use that doesn't rattle every window in the house.
I'll be honest with you. This little Line 6 stomp, at first I struggled with it. You can ask Linnell. You don't have to crank this. I have it tied into my PA system right now. But when we go on vacation, I take my guitar, the Line 6 stomp, and my headphones. And I sit in the corner of the hotel room with my headphones in, plugged into the Line 6 stomp, and I'm just as happy. I'm a happy little camper.
Kurt said that guitar needs 2 slices of pickles painted on it.
This guitar is stupid for a non-locking bridge on this guitar. I'm really digging this guitar. This is a fantastic instrument. Fantastic instrument. It's got a roasted neck. I love the pickups. Again, this is another guitar. Buy it, just jam it. You don't have to do anything to this thing. It's got a good sound. And not only that, it has a good clean sound. If we go to the clean tones. That's a good sound. This guitar does a lot of good things. That's a good sound. Whether you like clean or not, it's got a good sound to it. It breaks up well. I'm liking it. It just plays nice. It makes you want to play it. What do I always say? A guitar that makes you want to play is a guitar for you. Whether doesn't matter if it's a K, if it moves you to play it, it's your guitar. Don't let a YouTuber tell you it's a piece of shit. Excuse my French. If they were all the same, everyone would make the exact same thing. There's different widths of frets, different heights of frets, different radiuses on the fretboards, different bridges, whether it's a 6-screw, bridge that floats, a 2-post bridge that floats, a 2-post with a locker, or a jazz tremolo, bone nut, tusk nut, metal locking nut, locking tuners, non-locking tuners, stainless steel frets, nickel frets. Whatever combination makes that special sauce for you work, that's your guitar. This particular one just has something that makes me want to play it. Go back and watch the review if you're new here. It's a good guitar. And that's a good time for me to tell everyone, please go down, hit the like button, and please also hit the subscribe button. We do have a guitar giveaway, which is the 280 Select that's behind me. You just have to be publicly subscribed to the channel, and you have to head over to Discord, and you have to fill out that little form Steve made in the guitar giveaway room. That allows us to populate the wheel so Devastator and I can do the spinny thing, and it just makes it easier for everybody.
Kurt said Avery the Dirty Frenchman.
Yeah, I agree with that. Oh, guys, I can't get over how the channel's grown, and that man, I not to get all saucy and crappy, but man, you guys come each week, and you pick on me, I pick on you, and everyone here has their big boy pants on. I mean, just the opinions and how everyone reacts to products, like Kurt. If Kurt thinks something's a piece of crap, he's going to say, that's a piece of crap. But when he says it, he tells you why. I like that. I don't have to agree with him, but he tells you what he thinks, and he tells you why he thinks it. Exact same thing with Steve, Wicked Fester, Devastator, Birdman. Man, watch Birdman. That man finds guitar deals like you would not believe. I don't know where hell he finds them. But he finds some guitars that's like, wow, I wish I would have found that for $50. And he takes these guitars and he fixes them. He does this to them. And that's a whole nother realm if you're into that. And he's into that. I think that's cool. So we've got guys here that are 100% budget oriented guitar. That's what they are. And we got other guys that are like, no, when I buy a guitar, it's going to be an Ibanez Prestige. It's going to be a Gibson. It's going to be, an American-made Jackson. I get that too. I say it all the time. I want a Gibson Les Paul with P90s. And I've tried to scratch that itch buying a lesser guitar with P90s. I still want the Gibson. So I get it. If you want something, you want something. And we were just talking about that on the last stream. If you want a JCM 800, buy a JCM 800. There's a reason why that's such a famous amplifier. It's not because it's a piece of junk. It's famous because so many artists pushed that amplifier and just got the sound out of it. That's why there's cost so much money. if you know what you're doing with it, that amplifier's just a freaking awesome amplifier. Exact same thing with Friedman and Red 7 and all. Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Juke. Oh, wrong button. Thank you, Mr. Juke. Yeah, that's what it's about. And that's the journey I'm on. And that's why I always bring up, sometimes I try to save a little money and sometimes I mess up. I try to save that money and I get a product that just doesn't work. So, and that's what the chat's about. If you get a product and it doesn't work for you, and this is what you were shooting for, people come in here and they say that. It's like, well, I tried that and it just didn't work for me in this scenario. And that's kind of what we need. You know, this channel isn't here for me to teach you guitar. I'm not that good of a guitar player. There's so many stupid, talented people on YouTube that can show you every riff known to man on guitar. And they've got the cameras and the setup and the talent to do that. This guy can't. This guy's here to talk about products and you guys, you know, in real world scenario. So I know my lane, and that's the lane I want the channel to stay in. I'm not here to shred on the guitar. I'm just here to, you know, review products. And that's what the poll was about. So I'm going to look at the poll real quick before we end the stream. So 0 people want line 6 wing setup content. Kurt, we're screwed on the line 6 content. I hate to tell you that. We had 0 votes for that. We did have 48% of you wanted more pedal reviews. So we will start doing more pedal reviews. Evidently, you guys really liked the MXR content last week. So I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm going to start looking for more pedals. If you have a suggestion on a pedal that you'd like to see on the channel, please come back and post that in the comment section of this video. At the end of the video, say, yeah, I would like to see this pedal or that pedal. And keep in mind, we have to purchase that product and I have to resell it. So if you guys pick a Strymon, it might be 1 pedal per 6 months.
Beretta Vandy, it says, Beretta says this channel is the best for learning, bang for the buck, and why it's the best bang for the buck, especially for new players.
Thank you so much, man. That's what we're trying to be. We're trying to be a channel that's just tells you how it is on guitar reviews. Everyone's biased. I'm biased. When I review a guitar, if I'm into it, you can kind of tell. But that doesn't change when I'm reviewing it. If I'm checking the frets and the frets are good and the pickup readings are what you want to hear and see and the tuners aren't slipping and I'm saying the fit and finish and stuff's good, it really doesn't matter if I'm bonding with it. Does that kind of make sense? But we're all biased. If I give this guitar to someone in the chat, let's say everyone in the chat plays this guitar, not all of you are going to like this Sire guitar. It doesn't work that way. Would I think 50% of you would? I think all of you would say it's a good playing guitar. I would say probably 50% of you would say, yeah, I'm bonding with it. The other 50% would kind of go, nah, it's really not my cup of tea, but it plays nice. That's kind of what the review has to do. The review has to show you, hey, it's well made. It's got good pickups. The wiring in it's good. That's what the review's about. But I try to be as non-biased as possible. And we've reviewed so many guitars on here. Sometimes it's hard to remember where guitars fall as far as price point versus quality. It's very difficult. I could do it when we were at 20 or 30 or maybe 40 guitars, but we're mid 80s. You know, we've done probably 85 guitar reviews and everything from, you know, a $3,000 PRS down to a $100 Grote. Everything in between we've done. USA made, Japanese made, China made, Indonesian made, Mexico made, Brazilian made. We've pretty much had them all on the channel.
Kurt said, I love this channel for its no bullcrap sales pitch and honest review, no shilling for the companies.
Yeah, I promise you guys it won't be that way. And that's pretty noticeable because we no longer get anybody reaching out, sending us anything.
Jupe said, send it to me, Avery. I'll let you know.
That's your job, Jupe. You buy it and send it to me.
He's talking about that guitar.
Oh, this one. I tell you what, Jupe, I always look at the new colors because every one of these guitars are different. So if you guys like it, it's a swirl. You just got to kind of get on the site, and when you see one that has a pretty body, that has the swirl that you like, just buy it. Because there's never going to be another one like it. There's only one. If you see one, you're like, oh my gosh, I love the swirl and the way the colors are on that one, just buy it. Now, they make this in a base in this color, and they make the Strat in this color too, in the swirl. So if you're into one of those and you like the color and you like that in-your-face thing, and you see one that has that swirl that you like and just the right amount of green and brown and yellow, pull the trigger. Because it might be a year before another one comes up that has that look that just hits you and says, oh, that's badass. Every one of them is different.
DMT Guitars says, I have something I can send.
Oh, I'm liking it. Guys.
It's custom.
That's cool. Birdman in the chat has sent guitars for us to review. Steve has sent us guitars to review. Devastator has sent us guitars to review. Who else in the chat, hon? Jupe has sent us guitars to review. Mm-hmm. Who else has sent us guitars?
Did you say Steve?
Steve. Yeah, I did say Steve. There's been so many people that have really stepped up and said, look, I want to get this guitar. So they order it and they just send it to me. We do the review. And that's a good thing because we've had reviews kind of like Devastator. That was a very expensive guitar. He picks up the phone and says, I got a problem. And Z Sounds, I'm pretty sure it was Z Sounds, they went way above the ordinary company to get me the parts to fix that guitar during that review. I mean, that's important. We're reviewing a guitar, yes, but the guitar had a problem. So Devastator contacts the people that he buys it. I got the part in 2 days. That's stupid fast. I mean, Sweetwater's fast too. I've gotten parts in 3 days, but 2 days? That's insane. So sometimes it's about the guitar, but sometimes it's about who you're buying that guitar from. And Devastator, I'm pretty sure, will tell you Z Sounds went above and beyond. Worked with him with the case, lots of problems with the issues with the case. No issues there. Got the pick guard to us. I mean, for me, that means something. If I can buy a product from someone that's going to stand behind that product, especially if I'm ordering online, that's why I support my local store. Because if I get something and it fails, I can pick it up and I can go right to my store. Well, Z Sounds proved, hey, yeah, we know we're an online retailer, but we're going to take care of our customers. So that means a lot to me. Sweetwater has always taken care of me. I don't have a problem with Sweetwater. Have I always gotten great things? I've gotten some lemons. But Sweetwater takes care of me. Okay? That means something to me. Now, if they would have told me to go pound sand on the microphones that I got, or that Ibanez, it would be like, I don't know, I'm going to spend $1,600 on this guitar, and it's got a ding in the fret, it's got some chips, it's got blemishes on the pickup rings. I'm not liking this for $1,500 and basically $1,600 after tax. No problem, send it back, pick something else out. They were so nice. They said, look, we know you had an issue. we'll give you this Mach 6 Schecter, which was $150 more than the Ibanez. And they paid shipping for the Ibanez to me, Ibanez back, and the Schecter to me. And I didn't give them a penny.
Look,
That means something.
your swirl guitar, Birdman had said swirl for the squirrel.
That's right. Guys, I'm 100%. I sold my polka dotted guitar. I kind of missed that guitar, my Kramer polka dot. That was a good guitar. But it was in your face, and it's something different. Black with blue, green polka dots on it. I like stuff like that. So when I look at this and I saw it, I was like, I got to have one. So as soon as I saw it, I was on the waiting list, waiting for that guitar. And I think it took them like 5 months to get it. And I got the phone call, hey, it's in. I'm like, yeah.
Beretta Vandy is apparently thinking of sending his Vandenberg reissue to you for review and comparison to his original Vandenberg.
I would love the new one. I really would. I don't send your Gen 1, man. That's not worth risking. We know how UPS does. Oh, real quick, Matt Eder says he's gone. So I see, again, guys, he gets my attention because I see that orange stripe in the chat. I don't know if you guys see it like that or not, but on my end, when he says it draws my eye to it. Thank you so much, man, for coming into the stream. Yeah, if you want to send the second gen, the new one, I would love to review that. I have, well, actually, I guess that would be a Gen 3, the new one. I have a Gen 2 Vandenberg that has the spider on it. Your Gen 1 is pretty much the same guitar, just with a 2700, and I have 3 other PVs with 2700s. So I kind of already know what that one is. But I would be curious to see what the new Vandenberg with the Floyd is, what it's about. I was on the waiting list for that guitar, and then I backed out on it. I couldn't pull the trigger at 3,000. I just couldn't do it.
He said for you to compare your reissue to your Vandy.
The reissue. Yeah, well, we can do that. We can do that. My Vandenberg doesn't have my Nitro has a stupid amount of playtime on it, but my Vandenberg still has pretty good frets on it. So yeah, we can do a side-by-side comparison of the two. That'll work. My Nitro that I played out live with, that has so many hours on it and the frets are chewed up. I just don't want to fix it. It's one of those things. When you refret a guitar, it is a new guitar. And when I look at that guitar and I pick it up and I play it, even though one of the bridge posts are bent on it because it was the first gen 2700 with the thinner bolts and inserts, so the post is bent. Even though it has that issue and the frets are worn out, I don't want to fix it. It's all original. It's got dings, scratches, dings, chips, you name it, it's on the guitar. When I look at that, I think of the places I played, the people I played with, and all the history that I have with it. And I don't want to refret it and then end up not liking it, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I know I love the guitar. Even though it's got worn out frets, it still plays. And when I play it, it just reminds me of my days playing out. Call me whatever. I just want to leave that one the way it is. My Vandenberg, it's still in good shape, and my other 2 PVs are in good shape. They were all secondary. The Vandenberg got, I would say, 1/3 of the playtime that the Nitro got. I just thought the Nitro with the EMG 89 was more in your face and just had more attack, if that makes sense. And that Vandenberg was fine. It just didn't have the balls that the Nitro had with that EMG 89 in it. So I played that one more. That was just me. I liked the Ebony though a little better than my Nitro. That's what got me on my whole Ebony fingerboard kick was the Vandenberg. And I still like Ebony. Every guitar that I have that has Ebony on it there's just something about it. I think it was Kurt that was it Ebenol. Is that what he called it? It's a ebony that's been ground up. It's sawdust from manufacturing, mixed with epoxy and then compressed. That's what's on my custom shop Squire. I love the I love the fingerboard on that guitar. And we did a review on a Valgoa that had an HPL fingerboard. Again, I love that neck on that guitar. That's a guitar I wish I would have kept, was the Valgoa with the HPL fingerboard. I wish I would have kept that guitar and put guitar head pickups in it. I think I paid $189 for that guitar. I could have put $60 in pickups in it and just had a beast of a guitar. But it's a review channel, so we order a guitar, we review it, and sometimes they just have to go. We were up to like 50 guitars here, and we're slowly getting rid of the review guitars, and so we're gonna get back into season. We're gonna we kind of ran out of time tonight, but I am gonna order a guitar, a budget guitar for review coming up very shortly. I'm going to get something with conventional frets with a 2-point bridge. It's either going to be humbucker single or a HH configuration, some type of super strat, something like that. I don't want to spend more than $250.
DMT Guitar says, if you could replace the whole neck with just screws, would you ever refret it?
If I had a secondary neck, which I can do, I would do it and keep my original, if that makes sense. If I could, and they're out there. There's probably a Midnight Blue Nitro on reverb right now, just the neck that I could pick up and do a refret on, and that's a good idea. I could probably do that. Just find a Midnight Blue Nitro neck and do a refret. I could probably do that. I wouldn't have an issue with that because the PVs use the screw with the metal plate on the back for neck pitch. So you don't really have to use a shim. You loosen your back, you loosen your 4 screws, and you can change your angle, your rake angle of the neck to the body, and then you lock down the main screws. So it's not like, it wouldn't be that difficult. Changing the neck shouldn't change the rake angle as far as setup. I would just need to realign the strings, if
Brett
that makes sense.
Vandy said 50 guitars. Those are rookie numbers.
We had a lot of guitars here.
Yeah, but you remember how many he had? Like 200 and something?
Right. That's a museum. That's a museum amount of guitars. We've got to the point where downstairs there was 2 whole racks full of guitars in boxes.
Birdman said he's up in the 40s.
Yeah, I don't know where we would be at right now. We're probably hovering right about 30 here. I'm guessing, not including the guitars here for service. I'm guessing there's probably 25 to 30. And I'm going to take at least 5 of those guitars out of the equation. I don't really play my PVs, and I don't really play my 86 Kramer Pacer Imperial. So those aren't really guitars that are in the rotation, if that makes sense. Those are my, yes, I own it. I want to try to keep them the way they are type guitars, if that makes sense.
Annoying Critic said eArt NK C1, $276 with Alnico pickups.
I was looking at the eArt on Amazon right now. They have a Telecaster version with a rosewood fingerboard. It's under $250. And I didn't see any of the strats. I don't know what the NKC1, which one that one is. I'm looking for something. I don't want the maple fingerboard. I'm looking for something with a rosewood fingerboard. But yeah, eArt was definitely on my radar. We looked at a bunch of those. I looked at the Leo James ST Pro. Believe it or not, that guitar has conventional frets. It looks like a pretty solid 2-point bridge on it. That guitar has promise. I think it was like 230, 229.
He said it's a Telly, the NKC one.
Yeah. That might be the one I was looking at. They had two colors that were in the 200s, and then they jumped up to 300 some odd dollars in some of the other colors. Yeah, I looked at that one. They had a Strat that I was looking at, and then they got the TL 380 or something like, or 360. I looked at those. There's one or two models of that one right now at $250.
Annoying Critic said, I thought you hated Leo James.
It's not that I hate Leo James. I just, they have bad fretwork. That's what Leo James has always done. And I've talked so much about it. The last Leo James we did, the fretwork wasn't great, but it still had 5 or 6 spots. But and I'll say this again, at $219, that Leo James, it's probably the cheapest thing that stayed really close to in tune with a fake Floyd Rose. You could take that guitar and put a Godot in it and probably have a pretty decent guitar.
Red of Andy, they have a Steve Brown Telly with Floyd coming.
Steve Brown sound. Now, we looked at the Steve Brown sound on the stream and we zoomed in on the pickup routes.
And apparently Brett of Andy is drooling.
Yeah, you need to pay attention to the routes where the pickups are. The photos show those and the routes don't look too good. So please keep us posted. Maybe the generic photos that they have on their website is old. But if you go to the website and look at Steve Brown's sound, zoom in on the pickup routes. They don't look very clean. It looks like there's a lot of tear out around the pickup. So I'm curious to see what you receive. So keep us posted. All right, back to the poll. Right now, more pedals and reviews, we're at 52%. More behind the show content, 22%. And more rack mount content is at 26%. So we'll do a little bit of rack content, and I'm going to start shopping for some pedals. Get more pedal stuff on here. So that gives me a goal to work for. I want to thank everybody for coming in tonight. It's 10:16. We've been on for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I do have to technically work my 4 hours tomorrow. Since I was lazy and didn't put in all my time that I was supposed to in the first 2 days. Right there's the poll. Just come up in the chat. We had 28 total votes. Votes. I can't speak. But that's what you guys thought. So that's what we're going to do. It's about you guys. So if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see, okay, maybe a GP5, GP50, GT300, or what I'd like to get is this new X pedal. It's the 50. It's got an expression pedal. I think they're coming in right at like $400. I'd like to get my hands on one of those. If that's too expensive and we want to do individual pedals, maybe we can do a chorus pedal or maybe a distortion pedal. I think more effects type things would be ideal. Delay, chorus, flanger. I think a flanger would be cool. Maybe we can get an MXR flanger or something in. I think that would be cool. Get a Van Halen sound. All right, guys, thank you so much for coming in. If you haven't, please go down, hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe. And remember, we do this on Saturday night. And next Thursday, my man Brian, that was in the chat earlier, he will be here, hopefully. I haven't spoke to him, but it's supposed to be, what is it?
Tech Talk?
There you go. See, I was waiting for her to say it. She missed her cue. We got Tech Talk next Thursday, hopefully, with Brian. And any comments, put it in Discord, because Brian goes to Discord every day. So if there's something that you guys would like to see on Tech Talk next Thursday, a topic, whether it's cutting a nut, maybe setting up a Floyd Rose bridge, or anything of that setup type nature, please post in this video or head over to Discord and put in there what you'd like to see us tear apart or work on for Thursday night's Tech Talk. Again, guys, thank you so much. And don't forget to enter the new guitar giveaway, the 280 Select. That's also over at the Discord page. And I'll see everyone Saturday night. And I still don't have my 5-minute window up. I'm going to try to have that ready for Saturday stream. So when I hit the end button, that will end the broadcast. Again, guys, if you gave a super chat, thank you so much. That is what funds the channel and allows us to buy microphones and cameras to keep the quality of the channel up. All right, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you Saturday night. And I got to make sure I hit the right button here because it's very confusing now. All right, guys, thank you.